So there's a lot of chatter about Meghan Markle again. And nope, it's not because of some amazing new project or a dazzling public appearance. It seems like things are taking a pretty tough turn for her lately. It all seems to have started with an Instagram video. She probably hoped it would be a big win, something to show her in a positive light. Instead, it kind of exploded, and not in a good way. The whole thing has turned into a massive media buzz, with big companies reportedly rethinking things, some fans stepping back, and executives getting nervous. It looks like whatever career momentum she had is really hitting the brakes. Some people are saying that she and Harry made choices that upset a lot of folks, including his family, and that's left a bad impression on many. There are even mentions of past staff members who allegedly found working with her very difficult. One person even said she could be sued for saying Meghan was a bully, which is a pretty strong statement. Let's go back to that video for a moment. Meghan apparently wanted to share a lighthearted, relatable take on being a mom. The idea was to show her funny side, her experiences with motherhood, and maybe just remind people she's still around. But what people saw on their screens felt, well, a bit strange to many. It came across as awkward and like she was trying too hard. There were some unusual dance moves and what some thought looked like a baby bump that just sparked more confusion than clarity. Instead of people laughing along, many were left puzzled, wondering what they'd just seen. The negative reactions came quickly, and not just from anonymous internet users. Big names at companies like Netflix and Paramount apparently started to worry. At Netflix, where Meghan had her docuseries, the co-CEO Greg Peters was reportedly quite unhappy and pushing back privately. Even Ted Sarandos, another top exec at Netflix who usually seemed more supportive of Meghan, was apparently starting to have second thoughts. It's one thing to stand by someone during a controversy, but it's another if that controversy starts making your whole company look a bit silly. Meanwhile, Paramount reportedly decided to end their association with her. Other studios seem to be either ignoring her calls or slowly creating distance, likely wanting to avoid any drama. It feels like many in the industry think the initial excitement surrounding her has faded. This video certainly didn't help. If anything, it seemed to confirm whispers that Meghan Markle's US public image is now more of a risk than a benefit. True to form, Meghan didn't stay silent. Amidst all this, she released a statement explaining her intentions for the video. She said it was about showing the world, especially her critics, that she's a capable mother. She wanted to convey that becoming a mom hadn't diminished her humor or personality, that she still enjoys life, has important things to say, and deserves an audience. But just because you say something confidently doesn't mean people will buy it. Many online saw someone trying very hard to be both quirky and inspiring, and it just didn't connect. In fact, it backfired so badly that even some former supporters were left confused, perhaps questioning their earlier endorsement. And now, the second season of her show, with Love Meghan, seems to be in a tricky spot. Reports suggest that early test viewings didn't go well at all. The feedback was apparently very poor, with some calling it unwatchable. Netflix is understandably concerned because it seems even her dedicated fans aren't showing much interest anymore. Meghan might still feel she has valuable lessons to share with the world, but it's looking more and more like the world isn't really in the mood to tune in. What's really striking is how Meghan Markle seems to see herself as a misunderstood hero in her own story. In recent comments, she described the whole video issue as a message for all parents, almost like she was doing a public service. She said things like, "Motherhood is powerful," and suggested that too many people lose their joy and sense of humor after having kids. So she apparently sees herself as a beacon of fun, lighthearted parenting in a world of serious adults. A noble idea, perhaps, but only if it had been received as she intended. It wasn't. Instead of connecting with parents, it seemed to push them away. Instead of being empowering, it felt more about her, and instead of uplifting, it came across as out of touch. What Meghan might not be grasping is that her audiences aren't really looking for lectures or abstract messages delivered through an odd Instagram video. They were especially not keen on someone living a very privileged life trying to portray herself as just another mom struggling through the everyday. It's not just the general public feeling this way. Behind the scenes at Netflix, there's reportedly a lot of tension. Greg Peters is said to be very frustrated and wants the platform to move away from Meghan. The challenge is Ted Sarandos, who, for reasons not entirely clear, has been more lenient. He's still reportedly defending her, though even he is said to be feeling the pressure. Insiders suggest the board is divided. Some want to cancel season 2 immediately, while others prefer to wait and see if public opinion changes, which seems unlikely. To complicate things, Meghan isn't giving up. Word is she's actively trying to find new partners, pitching ideas to places like MTV and Disney for her next big thing. This might have worked a year or so ago, but now, after all that's happened, most executives are probably very hesitant to even consider working with her. She's gone from being a hot topic to a significant professional gamble, and the industry is well aware of it. Making matters worse, fans are reportedly leaving. People who used to support her online, share her interviews, and praise her are now deleting their old posts and moving on. When your own supporters start to disappear, that's a major warning sign that no PR team can easily fix. Even on her social media, posts are getting more criticism than positive engagement. Comments that once overflowed with praise are now calling her out for being insincere, preachy, or disconnected from reality. Then there's the ongoing question about that baby bump in the video. People online couldn't stop talking about how strange it looked, how its shape seemed to change, and how its placement appeared off. This led to all sorts of wild theories. Was it genuine? Was it some kind of stunt? Whatever the explanation, it definitely didn't help her image. Instead of building trust or sympathy, it just made people uneasy. And once people start questioning your honesty, the negative impact can spread very quickly. Throughout all of this, Meghan continues to insist that she's just being true to herself, expressing herself authentically, and won't be silenced by critics. But here's the thing. Nobody is really trying to silence her. It's more that people just don't want to listen anymore. There's a big difference between being silenced and simply being ignored, and right now she's being loudly ignored. Meghan's defiant stance hasn't wavered. If anything, she's become more outspoken. She recently did a long podcast-style talk with no interviewer, just her speaking for almost an hour. And in a very Meghan-like move, she started talking about herself in the third person, saying things like, "The world hasn't seen the real Meghan yet," as if she's setting up some grand reveal. That's when many felt her self-focus became really obvious. Instead of addressing the backlash with some humility or self-reflection, she leaned into the idea that everyone else is mistaken and just doesn't understand her. She doubled down on her belief that it's her mission to teach others how to raise children, as if parenting advice from someone with a team of nannies, media experts, and a luxurious lifestyle would resonate with everyday parents juggling multiple jobs and school runs. Her message might have been better received if it felt even slightly relatable, but it really didn't. It sounded less like someone trying to help and more like someone desperately trying to stay in the spotlight. What's making the situation even more intense is the reported backstage drama with Netflix. Meghan is allegedly pressuring Ted Sarandos to approve a third season of With Love, Meghan, even though the second season isn't out yet and is already facing problems. Sources claim she's using whatever influence she has to keep the show going. Some are even guessing there might be more to her relationship with Ted than just a professional one, though that's just speculation. Meanwhile, Greg Peters is reportedly finished with the whole thing and is trying to convince Netflix's board to cut their losses. From a business standpoint, it makes sense. The early viewings for season 2 were supposedly terrible, with viewers finding the episodes empty, self-centered, and out of touch. Even Meghan's most devoted fans weren't impressed. For a huge streaming service like Netflix, continuing to fund a show that can't even keep its core audience interested is a huge problem. So now they're in this uncomfortable position, caught between loyalty, internal politics, and public sentiment. Outside of the corporate offices, things aren't any better. Meghan's public image is taking a serious hit. Late-night talk shows are making jokes about her, online comments are harsh, and even media outlets that used to defend her are now keeping their distance. When the people who once supported your story start treating you like a tabloid headline, it's usually a sign that things are heading south. The unfortunate part is that she still seems to believe this is all part of a comeback. She acts as if the world is just being mean, and that eventually, opinions will change in her favor. But in reality, the more she talks, the more harm she seems to do.